So with this one, we have generally, as you know, from module 1, we're looking at pre-screenings. Actually, the pre-screening for this client actually isn't in there. So I'm just going to direct you what to write. So normally this client, we know she's a professional tennis player. So we're going to assume that in stage 1, definitely she wouldn't answer yes to stage 1. And even in stage 2, so question 4, when it looks at how much exercise she's going to do per week, she's going to have plenty for that. She's going to, so we're just going to put down for risk factors. You want to write in 0. So 0 risk factors. For the overall risk level, that's going to be obviously a low risk client. And how we, steps we took, the steps we determined to actually do this pre-screening. So for the overall risk level, as you know, you're working out if she's got less than, I'll just get up, sorry, one sec, module, what are we, pre-screen? Not that one. All right, boom. So how do we work out the risk? Well, pretty much we are just looking at, this one hasn't even got it. So total risk factors and using the risk stratification. So if you just want to write down, we're going to write down, we calculated her risk factors. We calculated her risk factors and used the risk stratification tool. So let's get it up so we can see. Yeah, so that's it there. So calculate risk factors. Once we have that, we use it to work out. So, you know, if you're more than 5, you're high risk. If she's got less than 2 risk factors, or sorry, greater than 2 or 2 to 5, moderate risk. And if she's got less than 2, it's a low risk. And that tells us that she can work up to a vigorous to high intensity. Whereas these clients can only go to a light to moderate and so forth. So, yeah. So you can also write down a low risk client as we got. Sweet. All right. So number 2, identify and explain what type of training she would most benefit suitable for her goals. So if we go back to the little spiel, we have got a pre-screen, so it does make it hard, but we'll just base it off what she's put down. So for her, she's put down, she's joined the gym. Her goals are just to maintain her conditioning and also to improve her strength in the lower body. So probably the 2 main things there. We has to identify and explain what type of training. So probably the main types will be just write down as her main goal is strength. So as Rebecca's main goal, as her main goal is strength, we would also, Rebecca should be doing resistance training in the strength, / hypertrophy zones. There's always an overlap as well, as we know, zones or categories. Yep. We can say also Rebecca wishes to maintain her general fitness, just to maintain her general fitness. Therefore, she should be incorporating that word there. So aerobic conditioning / HIIT training. Aerobic conditioning / HIIT training. So the reason why I put down a bit of HIIT training there is because if her main focus is really was working on her getting stronger and her lower body, if she does too much, say, cardio, it would almost sort of counterbalance or contradict her strength goals. So this is where you might want to incorporate a bit of HIIT training, because it wouldn't really contradict her strength. It wouldn't compromise her strength training. She could still do that and it wouldn't take away. We know with HIIT training, the benefits are, we can do some, intervals, say if you did like a Tabata on the bike, or, 30 seconds on, 30 off. It's not hard to do at the end of a session or a short session, but it still gets a lot of benefits for cardio without really compromising her other goals. Does that make sense for that?
Yeah.
Especially when like it's more about maintenance. So we're not really going to be doing lots of cardio because she just wants to sort of maintain it, I'd say. So for Rebecca, we've just got to identify. So it doesn't say to identify and explain. It just wants you to identify. So you can pretty much just choose. I put down examples there. If you want to choose two of the ones that you think would be best to motivate Rebecca, or if you find two that you think you find personally. So I'll talk about some of them. So positive reinforcement. So she might be a beginner. She's just joined the gym. Positive reinforcement, we know, just gets them sort of happy and reinforces good behavior. The ESSIC method stands for explain, show, instruct, and cue. So if I'm showing someone a brand new exercise, I'll explain it. I'll show them the exercise. I'll instruct them how to do it, and then also I'll provide cues, like drive it, squeeze your glutes, things like that. Body language, just show the client that you care. Put your phone away, give them the full attention. Listening, a lot of PT sessions are just therapy almost for a lot of clients. Listening to their problems, helping them out. Quality feedback, I think it's really important as well. Especially if she's an athlete as well, she probably need that quality feedback. All right, actually, that's all you got to do, Anna. That one only says identify, so it doesn't actually say for you to explain it. It just says to identify. So
I was about to explain that.
Go ahead. Top of the class.
No.
Extra.
If I don't have to explain, I'm not using that brain right now. No.
This one I think says list. Oh, this one I think says list as well. That's good.
Oh, how good.
Actually, this one is short, this one, so we're almost done. Now, I will talk about this one a little bit. So it does say list two short-term and two long-term. So for me, I think the easiest way, if we're going to do two, we'd make one for strength and one for cardio, because that's the two areas she's identified. Now, with goals, well, there's the definition. Now, I put down SMART goal setting. Did I blab on about this last week? I'm pretty sure I did. SMART goal setting.
I can't remember you doing that.
I thought I might have spoke about it in the client setting. That's all right. SMART goals. I'll get it. It's worth talking about, because I think this is actually an underrated thing. Even for yourself, like years like I'd go to the gym, I'd just be going through, just going to the gym for the sake of it, and you'd be training hard, but you sort of be floating around. But sometimes I find if you actually have a bit of a more of a direction, especially if the client's paying you money, you want to actually not just get them results, but you want to justify that what you've done in a 6-week training block has actually improved them with quantifiable data. So this is whenever you set a goal, you want to make it SMART. So it stands for, you'd see specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and a time base. So if the client said to me, I just want to get fit, I say, okay, well, how do I measure that? How do I actually say to the client that you've got better? So say with you, Braden, like you guys can actually make it specific to what you're doing. So you might do a footy boys will do the 1.2 test. You get a time, and then once you in 6 weeks time, you'll then do the 1.2 again. So you can see that you might have had a goal that you want to try to get your 1.2 run time down by 10 seconds. So you can see that actually 6 weeks time, actually that's the T for time. Is the goal relevant? Running, football, up and back, it's relevant. Things like that. So, and you got to be able to measure it. So if a client said to me to get fit, I'm like, well, okay, how do I measure that? This is where doing a test might work out well, like doing a push-up test, because I can actually measure their muscle endurance or for their strength of the upper body. I can say that, okay, I can now measure it again in 6 weeks time. How's that make sense?
Yeah.
Yep. Sweet. So yeah, try to make it SMART, literally. So that's with that. So you've got to be able to measure it. got to make it a time. They're probably the two main ones: measurable and to make it a time frame. If I say I want to lose 5 kilos, and if that's all I say, technically in 2 years' time, I could still say, oh, I haven't said when I'm going to. You got to actually say within 6 weeks or 6 months, whatever. Put a goal to it. So one for strength, one for endurance, for cardio. So for her, short term, we're looking at it's going to be roughly sort of 6 weeks. And for strength, now this is a bit hard to do for this lady because I don't know what her goals are.
Yeah, it's not giving us any results or anything, so we don't know what.
So I don't know like if her deadlift was 50 kilos or 100, so whatever like that.
Yeah,
so what I'll probably get you guys to write down, and I'm glad this is a good discussion. I'm just going to say percentage. So I might simply say, and I'll give you this first one. So just write down strength. We'll do strength dash. So her strength goal. Let's just say improve her compound lifts by 15%. So a percentage is always, by 6 weeks time. Or in 6 weeks time. So we've got to have a time frame. Improve her compound lifts by 15% in 6 weeks time. That's where percentage is good because the percentage is relative to the person. Yeah, like that. Now for cardio, again, probably gonna do something very similar. It would depend on, we could do it with a machine gym. We could maybe do a 500 meter a row test. You could do, I mean, depends what you have access to. Like you could do a beep test. It's got a lot of data too. I know you footy boys, love your 1.2s, 12-minute run test, things like that. Again, we'll probably do it. So you can put down like that 6-minute run test. Yep, that's fine. Or bike. Probably
percent again.
I'd probably do a percent. Yeah, that's all we can do at the moment. Just say percentage. If it said that she got, scored 4 minutes in 2,000 meters in a test, I'd say, well, maybe let's try to get to 2,400. But we'll just say percentages, I think.
Sweet.
If you wanted to get more complex, you might even pick one lift to focus on. Because you did say lower body, you could maybe go like, barbell squat or a deadlift. But that's fine. I think the compound list would be a good one because I'm picturing like you'd have her program. You'd be pretty much writing down what she does for each session, and you'd be able to track it, and you sort of be looking at that. Long-term goal, we're looking at by the time she gets back to her off season, so sort of 6 weeks time now. Probably not long term, it's probably more medium term, but in this relative case, it's fine. So again, look, I reckon probably very similar. Like we might just be sort of doing the same as the first two, maybe just adding the percentages differently. So let's just do improve the lifts again, but maybe let's just say deadlift because she did say lower body. So we'll say improve her deadlifts by, let's pretend that she's already got 15%. So we'll say from the very first day. So from the first day to the 12 weeks time, we'll just say maybe by 30% after 12 weeks. And you can almost do the same thing. If you chose the bike test or whatever else you did, you can maybe just make it again 30% or maybe 20%. But that will depend on what you do. Yeah, so if you chose different machine, you just try to make the same one, up to you. Boom. Flying through this one. All right, lucky last is we've just got to make a bit of an overview of just a training overview. What I might do actually is I'll just get up. Here's one's not good. Yeah, so roughly like this. So it does say split training. So split training, what that means is we're sort of splitting up our body parts, not just body parts, it can also be our movements. So I don't like that example. Sorry, Bryce.
Just because her goals are like lower body and her cardio fitness, should we just focus on that instead of doing chest and stuff?
Yep, I reckon. Or what we could do is, like, let's just pretend like she might go to the gym, say 3 times a week. We could maybe even do, because the problem is, braids, it does ask for a split training, so we sort of do have addressed that sort of part of the question. But in the real world, yep.
So
I was gonna say, yep.
is
After
it not split like quads and then hamstrings, or is that one training session type thing?
there's sort of, there's no set way. It's just it's split by definition. It's just splitting it into different parts. Firstly, it could be parts. It could also just be upper lower. It also could just be movements. So like, let's just say you do all your pushing movements. One day you do all your, what you could also do though is, like, just say this client wants to work more on her lower body. So I could do technically, let's just say she does her pulling. So like, for example, this guy here did like a pull session.
Yep.
But you could do, like, just say on Monday you did gym pulling movements, plus you could do an extra deadlift, because deadlift, is a pulling movement, but it's also a lower body focus as well, or posterior chain. So you can still have that structure of, like, pulling one, pushing one, and legs, but maybe on your first one of the week, you might have an extra leg. You might give her an extra leg compound like that. So you can sort of play around with it like that. So let's just say, for purposes of this, she might, like, what this person's done here is he's done like a gym pull, push, gym lower body focus, or what you could do actually, probably better, if you did gym push plus an extra compound leg, and then you did like a gym pull one here, and then you did your legs like that. So you're doing like a leg session on a Friday, but then you're also doing a bit of a leg session on a Monday as well, because you're doing like a little bit extra legs with your upper body type A one. So 3 leg exercise, three gym sessions, like Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then it does say you got to do a circuit session. So you could just so Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You could do a circuit on the Saturday if you wish. Circuit is a combination of strength and cardio, so just write that down. What you could also play with, because this is the first or second workshop, so this is a really basic overview. When you get into the course a bit more, we write down sessions a bit more detailed. You can play around with it. So what we did here was he combined he put a bit of a HIIT session on top of his gym session. So sometimes if you're like training every day, like you do gym one day, cardio the next day, sometimes it's better to actually combine sessions and have a bigger session than have a whole day of recovery. Yeah. So, or even you could go a step further and do like AM gym, PM cardio, Tuesday fully off. Is also sometimes a good way for that, because we know that a lot of the gains and stuff happens in the recovery, like that. So yeah, as I said, just to recap, probably 3 gym sessions, circuit on the Saturday, add in maybe 2 cardio sessions. So as I said, you can do a cardio with your gym, or you can have a cardio there. And it does say to identify a recovery day, so probably put a recovery on Sunday and somewhere in the week. Or you might want to do 3 days, maybe recovery on the Thursday. 3 days in recovery. It's probably better actually, because you've got a recovery Sunday, so you do recovery Sunday, 3 days of training, recovery, and then 2 days. So you're doing 3 on, 1 off, 2 on, 1 off, like that. But yeah, look, to answer your question, Braden, what I would do, and you're bang on, like with this client, if they're a beginner, I would probably just do 3, like if they go on 3 days a week, I'd probably do 3 full body sessions.
Yep.
Because split sessions to me only are better when you're going every day. The benefits are you can, if you go 6 days a week, you can sort of monitor your different parts of your body. You might work that session and the next day have that body part off. like that. But if you're only going 3 days a week, you know, you just you hit compounds, like just say you do a compound for your chest, compound for your back, you know, compound for your legs, and then you have the Tuesday off, and then you go again on the Wednesday. How do you structure? How do you guys? I mean, yours is different depending on what phase you're in, depending if you're in pre-season.
Yeah. So during season, it's sort of depends on the turnarounds, but you're normally just doing like power sort of short stuff to keep the body sort of moving, as opposed to you know, doing big lifts and trying to build muscle. In the preseason, that's sort of the main focus.
Yep.
But yeah,
So,
during season, it's just about keeping your body sort of recovery is sort of the main thing.
If you go into Cert 4, you'll learn more about why there's phases. So that they do like the
yeah. I see what you mean. We've got the power phase now.
Yeah, but even like they do, I think like they call it a base phase, build phase. You'd probably be like almost in the maintenance phase where you've like, think of it like you actually built the base. So when you're building a house, for example, like you build the base of the house where it's like, that's the base phase, and then you build the house. So what you've done, you've built the fitness in the pre-season, off-season. And now it's all more about sort of maintenance phase. So by doing those sort of, you know, cleans and stuff, you're sort of just keeping your central nervous system turned on, maintaining that strength levels.
Right.
But you're not doing lots of volume, because by doing too much volume, you're going to sort of blunt your energy systems and things like that. So
yeah.
So it's good though. Good, interesting to learn about this, and you can get stuck in your fitness guy if you've got any questions. And so Anna, how'd that all go?
Yeah, good, I think.
Good. Look, yep.
Yeah.
Yep, dividing it up. So pretty much, yeah, as I said, split training is just sort of looking at different splits like that. So I think we're done. Have an early mark? Yeah, sounds right.
Beauty.
Sweet. So just press turn in.